What's going on, everyone? Godric here, and welcome back to another video. And today's video is all about today's fictional great character backgrounds. In order, now, for those who are wondering what this show is, it's basically me talking about my OCs from various mobile games that involve character creation. So that including Soul Calibur, GTA, and especially the Dynasty Warriors games, Samurai Warriors. So this is another character that actually originated in Soul Calibur 6. Unlike last week's like this character Evo, who actually was my OC for for a very long time. Julean was interesting, as in she was pretty much a pirate character that I never thought I was going to talk about. So yeah, today's fictional created character backgrounds. I'm going to be talking about the one-eyed pirate, Julean. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so Julean is from the Sigma universe, and she is of Asian descent, being half Malaysian and half Mongolian. She had no bio parents or biological parents. It was until um, Derek Westington and Ken Leon, who was married recently, ended up taking Julean under her care, along with another, along with a full Mongolian, or say full Malaysian, Marco. Uh, Here's the thing. She was born with white hair, but her hair turned white in her teen/adult years. She was born with magenta eyes, and she was born around Kovd, Mongolia. And in this game, along with Caliber 2 and 3, she's around 24 years old. So basically, in terms of context, she is a year older than Siegfried, um, but she is a year younger than Cassandra, and she was born around October 26, 1562, making 1562, making her a Leo. But so most likely in terms of the entire timeline, in Soul Edge she was 19, and Soul Calibur, in Soul Calibur she was 21. Soul Calibur's 2, 3, and 6 she's 24 years old, and last but certainly not least, Soul Calibur 4 she was 29, and she was 45 in Soul Calibur 5. Her likes and dislikes are literally on the bottom of the screen. She has an unknown. She has no weapon name nor weapon style. It's just, well, instincts. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get on to the story of the one-eyed pirate known as the Lady Dutch Julean. All right, so Julean was here. So Julean, and as well as her family, loves going to parties. You know, those type of parties that usual nobles were able to go for. Anyway, what Julean didn't realize is that she'll be meeting one of the more important characters in this timeline. Well, yeah, he was pretty important, and it was for many reasons. Alright, without further ado, let's move on to the most important character. Alright, so this important character is known as Juno Victorson VIII, or Duke Juno Victorson VIII, which he was a duke in a town, in a village two towns from two towns from there, and he was accompanied by Marco, Julian's adoptive brother. Even though they're not related, they're basically brother sister in arms. So most likely, um, like what Marco didn't realize and what Julian didn't realize is the Duke seems interested in Julian, and the reason is because for those wondering, the Duke is notorious for the Duke is secretly notorious for actually kidnapping any foreigners and actually sell them to be kept to captivity, aka slavery. That's basically what it is. He's kidnapping foreigners for slavery. Anyways, while Julian was on her way home, he on her way home he, he when Julian was on her way home, she decided to actually walk August of home and ran into the Duke, and most likely what Julian sees is that is that well, the Duke already took care of Marco, and yeah, Marco's dead. Anyway, Julian was not having it since he killed killed her. Well, someone that is like a brother to her. She's pretty much yeah. She wasn't having it. But in any case, the in any case, a fight. In any case, a fight ensues, and the Duke lost. It was until lost, and Julian didn't realize it, but one of her swords was missing, and for those wondering, it was the short sword that she actually made herself, which most likely it was a sword with a pistol attached to it, and let's just say that yeah, let's just say that she was legit framed for the murder of the Duke, when in actuality the townspeople do not know the truth about the Duke himself, and let's just say that they actually do not like the way they actually the way that Julian actually did what Julian did, and she was officially framed for the murder of the from two Duke from the village of Victorson. So most likely two bodies does not equal. Yeah, two bodies does not equal the way they actually wanted her to actually get to. Anyways, let's go on to chapter 1 through 4. Chapter 1 through 4, when she was 21 years old, she is on the run, and she does not feel like being recognized. So, in in pretty much in old fashion, she ended up turn her sights into piracy, or basically the thing that actually caused a lot of problems with the people in the sea. And she was only a rookie pirate when she actually knows what they're when she knows what they're going up to. Anyway, anyways, Julie was part of an all-girl pirate group, or basically the basically being known um for those that are wondering what that pirate group was, it was it was known as as the Banshee Mermaid Pirates, or basically is an all women's group of pirates that actually joined in, and Julean was one of them. And in terms, alright, in terms of why she became a pirate in the first place, well, it's to clear her name. That most likely what she did wasn't caused by her. In fact, the Duke actually planned it out. You see, in terms of what they actually plan to do, is the fact that his plan is for someone else to actually kill him and trying to mimic Julian's weapon, which, keep in mind, it had a funny handle to the weapon. But in actuality, her weapon is actually a sword with a pistol attached to it. And who could possibly go up against her? Well, it's quite simple. It was no it was no other than one of the vicious assassins that actually got to do this in the first place. Anyway, so chapter 5 through 10, when she was 24, is now a fully fledged pirate, and she is on her way to recruit her members. And her members include, and for the first half, it's Miyu Onigiri, a ninja with a interesting past, and carrying around a circle blade. Julian seems interested in her, so she decides to get her on board. Up next, we have, as you know, we have Mira Yamayato, a thief who actually stole a interesting coin off of Julian's ship, and didn't realize that he was in a pirate ship. And so Julian actually gets him into being recruited. And last but certainly not least, we have to talk about Shuno Hitsugaya, a swordsman who actually died a couple years ago, right before he had right before the piracy was a thing. And so this was the first half of the group. The second half I'm gonna be talking about later. Anyways, the four of them set out to sea, and let's just say that her sort is that not only that she missed her father and mother, but she also missed her brother, which, keep in mind, they were pretty much inseparable. And for those that are wondering, okay, so why does Julean miss her parents so much? Because the only people that she knows that still cares for her is her parents. Well, her foster parents. Her bio parents are unknown. Anyway, so so it's basically in more ways than one, she actually encountered her parents, which actually seems really interesting, and they look at her like she's different, as in she became a pirate, but an honest pirate. And basically when it comes to her physique, she bulked up. She's been a pirate for 3 years now, and she actually lost a lot of fat. In fact, she pretty much bulked like a bodybuilder. And most likely her parents actually joined her, even though they were previously no better than the normal people that actually took her out of Mongolia because of an all-out war. Anyways, when it comes to in terms of their in terms of every single pirate, each pirate has their bad habits. Julian has basically basically a bad habit of trying to figure out why her gun doesn't work, even though it was attached to a sword. And yeah, um, Mira keeps on trying to steal coins. Miyu keeps on, for some odd reason, Miyu for some odd reason can't stop eating Julian's fruits, which she actually grown herself. And last but certainly not least, Shuno has a basically a knack for carpeting. Every time that Julian and Mira with their skinless meddling again, apparently Shuno does not like, well, broken broken floors. Reason why? Because basically one time Miyu accidentally landed a little bit too hard on the board to the point where she ended up falling through the ship. Well, not falling through the ship, but fall inside the ship. And yeah, um, in terms of who actually, in terms of why, in terms of why Miyu, Mira, and Shino actually joined her, because well, they're both, I say all three of them are interested in Julian in more ways than one. Um, Miyu just want Miyu sees Julian as a friend that she can actually hang out with. Reason why Mira wants to be tries to actually be friends with Julian is so that she can actually, like she doesn't she has he gets permission to actually look through the ship. Juno, on the other hand, is interested in her weaponry. Basically, her long sword and short sword style, which actually has a long sword and a pistol sword, which that's what she calls it. And she is able to actually, is able to actually do a lot of damage with her weapons. But in the end, Shuno actually became friends with Mira. Not Mira, is that Mira? Became friends with Miyu. Um, and Julian has make sure to actually keep her ship locked. So that way Mira can actually meddling in where she actually is going. And Shuno was interested in the weapon, and Julian actually demonstrates how her weapon works. Her, her long sword is quite simple, but her short sword is interesting. So, basically, he gives a shot, and Shuno immediately loses. But hey, it's basically based on what else happened. Anyways, um, anyways, the next four to actually join her in her extravaganza is Ren Reiswein, or is actually joined for White Wind, a doctor from Germany that ended up giving her a lot of stuff to do, and it's pretty much self-explanatory. Up next we have Zhao Xuan Lu, who joined the pirate crew as a cook. And last, was not last but not least, up next is someone who actually didn't realize that could be a pirate every now and then, and that is the fictional and is actually the angel or the fallen angel Azazel. A well, like I said, he's a fallen angel who actually got interested and got through out of heaven and stumbled the pirate the pirate the pirate era Sorry, I cannot English today. And last but certainly not least, we have Nara Wataru Sune, a swordswoman who actually knows how to know sword and is also related to Shuno. Well, in terms of them having the same master. Anyways, she's a samurai to a pirate that actually ended up going with more than one sword. In fact, both her swords are connected to each other when it comes to the hilt. Anyways, is this is where it gets interesting because because within within the timeline of Soul 2 and Soul 3. In Soul 2, Julian ended up Julian ends up giving her parents a lifeboat to actually to get her to go back to London, and is it was very and it was unfortunately they actually did made it, and they keep sending her letters every now and then, but something seems wrong, like someone is actually interfering with something that's not meant to be. But here's the thing: there's another thing. For those who are wondering, how many pirates was in originally it was in Julian's crew? Well, originally it was 10. That, and I include all 8 of them, including 2 more. One of them was known as let's see, one of them was known as Wataru, and the other one is known as and the last one was known as Kai. Kai did Kai ended up being Kai ended up getting to ended up going to the place of his dreams. So he actually actually left the pirate group, and Wataru actually ended up dying due to the fact that due to Julian's irresponsible judgment, ended up having her having her die to start having her died of poison. Anyways, chapter 1 through 16 is when we get from Soul 3 all the way to Soul 4. In Soul 3, she ended up getting in Soul 3 she ended up getting captured, and and most likely these pirates are malicious. In fact, this is the first time she actually dealt with pirates like them. Unfortunately for her, they don't fear her. In fact, they know they know who she really is. She's Julean, the noble woman, who actually turned into a pirate, and actually ended up with somewhat of a reputation. Unfortunately for her, Julian was injured, being beaten and bruised. And not to mention, she was also scarred. Basically, she was cut in the eye, as well as being scarred in the abdomen, and they even used her pistol sword to actually shot her through the abdomen, basically giving her some scars that she actually has. Around chapter 17 to 20, she ended up and let's see, throughout Soul before, she ended up with basically almost no blood. She almost died of starvation and from dehydration, and she actually landed in Germany. That actually gave her give her a sword that actually was a normal sword for once, and they discovered that her actual weapon, that her short sword was actually, yeah, it was the pistol sword, a inter- a technology that most people did not realize actually existed yet. So, along with some training as well as along with some training and some aspects of armor, she actually does she actually has what is seen, and she basically ended up training under someone throughout many years, aka one of the characters that I'm about to talk about. Once I know the main character is Eric, who is an American that actually travels backwards in time through the 1500s, and fortunately for him, he actually ended up in the Pirate Age. So yeah, there's that. Um, within, let's see, for the most part, on paint, let's see, the paint on her hat that she originally had had a promise date, and that is 5 years, which was from which was from 1586 through 1591. And around 1591, she's 29 years old, and her scars are still deep, and she hasn't seen her seen her crewmates since the incident. And along with her second in command, basically, depending on which one you picked, if Miyu if Miyu led if Miyu actually had left the pirates that Julean gathered, she might they might not recognize her. Riznara is the same deal. But any other character would have actually disbanded the actual crew, would disbanded the crew every chance they get. But when it comes to Nara would have said, "Oh, Azazel actually has returned from heaven after, well, after he's been, well, raptured." Anyway, so in terms of what I'm going to pick Mew's route due to the fact that Mew actually led the crew pretty well, and they all seem different. Like, for example, Mira actually grew a beard and longer hair. Shuno actually got rid of the extra eye patch that he has, and actually also got proper clothes for once. And yeah, the rest actually has a lot of different, but more on that. Anyways, we actually had ended up with the epilogue, and this is when Sakaba 5 hits. When Sakaba 5 hits, Julian is now 45. She's retired from pirating after many years, and within those years, she actually figured out how she actually was framed in the first place. It was the fact that she was kind of careless. She was kind of careless to see what was going on. And what about her parents? Well, let's see. In terms of her parents are still alive, and they're now king and queen of England, and yeah, actually wrote to Julian that they actually might want her back from from having the pirate life. Unfortunately, 5 years, let's see, 10 years ago, um, yeah, around 10 years ago, she actually had, yeah, she actually had one more letter that came. And so, yeah, and literally, when it comes to Julean and basically being a pirate is no easy feat. In fact, in fact, she actually ended up not well, not being able to actually have any children, and not to mention she can't get married because, well, who in the world wants to marry someone who actually has one eye and they see bulked up? And in the end, Julian was one of the pirates that actually made pirates being popular. Without any further ado, hope you guys enjoy Julian's fictional creative character backgrounds. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like, subscribe, comment down below what you see next. Also, make sure you hit the bell notification to actually be notified of new videos and streams to come. Anyway, you can follow me on Instagram at God. Wait. Also, what do you guys think of Julian's backstory? I think it's pretty much good, and I do like the way they actually characterize her as an honest pirate. Anyways, you can follow me on Instagram at God27Sound Productions. You can follow me on Twitter at GT247S. You can check out my Discord at God27Sound Productions Garage Museum. And last but certainly not least, Monday as well as the next week is all Fast and Furious themed. So without any further ado, this is God signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.